Alaba.
A few years ago, Mike Klum came out of nowhere from the top turnbuckle, delivering a flying elbow drop that no one was expecting. Fresh off the battle bus, he deployed a cinematic experience that really kind of took the internet by storm, a professional, extraordinary documentary on Boogie 2988. And since then, it'd been radio silence. But there were some whispers and some information floating around about his next project that he was hard at work on, a documentary covering EDP 445, Eat That Pussy 445. And now, it's here. Well, the trailer is. He just dropped the trailer for it, The Sick Mind of EDP, and the full documentary is scheduled for August 9th. And I'm gonna spill the beans here, cat's out of the bag. I've seen the whole thing. Not only have I seen the entirety of the documentary, I've even seen the fucking Snyder Cut version of it, of things that didn't make it. It is legitimately unbelievable. And to be clear, this isn't a documentary that just aims to slopify a criminal, which EDP is. And he openly admits to, I think it was like close to 20 crimes throughout the entirety of the documentary. It might have been more. He himself openly admits to tons of crimes. And the documentary isn't just like a piece of entertainment to point and laugh at EDP. It tells the whole story and showcases the dangerously delusional, violent predator that he is, and brings in like professionals to also talk about it as well. It's not just like this, you know, goofy piece or anything. It is covering a genuinely dangerous, evil person. Like, I really wouldn't be surprised for renewed interest from the authorities after this documentary comes to light here. Because I'm not kidding or exaggerating. He brazenly admits to so many crimes, confirming his intent behind so many things in regards to children.
Weirdo!
I don't know how these things could just be ignored by authorities when he himself is just fucking bragging about it and going into detail on all of it. So that way there's no confusion or guesswork or anything. There's
all right. Hold on. Deadass? Okay. For him to actually fucking like sit there and like brag about touching kids is absolutely insane. How do you get on a documentary and then, you know, obviously the entire world hates you. We know you a scumbag. We know you a piece of shit. We know you a goofy.
Fucking punk ass black bitch.
Why would you hop on? Like, he had to do this for some type of monetary value, because there's no way that you actually hopped on a documentary about exposing you for free.
Are you sure?
And decide to go in graphic details about touching a kid. You a sick motherfucker. That is absolutely insane how sick you are. The fact that he's sitting over here and he's like an insider and he's telling us that we gotta wait, like, we've been waiting 13 days and shit for like the actual documentary to drop and stuff like that or whatever. But the stuff that got cut out was too graphic to even put in the video. Just demonstrates how sick of a bastard this guy is. This is insane. This is insane amounts of fucking like depravity we were witnessing at the moment.
There's even a section where Mike talks to like a lawyer about all of this and like, hey, what would you say to EDP? And immediately he says, stop doing the documentary. Shut the fuck up.
Stop doing this documentary.
That's a piece of it, but he was expressing confusion that he would even agree to do this because he is just outwardly admitting to all of these crimes, with no remorse, like even just casually talking about his crimes and like his intent and everything. It is shocking. Like, genuinely, like, I'm not using that as like a buzzword. It was shocking to watch this. And Mike Klum financed this entire thing out of his own pocket for the better part of 2 years. And the quality here, it's indistinguishable from like the biggest budget documentaries that you'll find, like Netflix documentaries.
That was a really good,
an incredible work here. Like, this is his magnum opus.
Really
this was a 2.5 year-ish project, and the work that went into it, man, the thousands of hours, it shows. I really wouldn't be surprised if EDP does end up in handcuffs after this premieres. Like, I know that's probably like really, over the top to even think something like that's a possibility, but when you watch this documentary, you'll see what I mean. He openly talks about his crimes that he got away with. And the documentary doesn't pull any punches or shy away from it. Mike Klum shows you all of it, and EDP himself doesn't shy away from it. He admits to all of it numerous times. Some crimes I didn't even know he'd committed, he talks about. I just don't know how the local law enforcement would plug their ears and shield their eyes to it.
There's multiple documentaries that's already been out there. Like, if the police really wanted to do some research and stuff, like he spent like a couple weeks in jail or something like that or whatever when he went broke and stuff like that and kept on getting banned off all types of platforms and stuff like that or whatever. But nobody has actually convicted him for the actual sexual crimes against minors that he is admitted to, that he's done, he could have done, have we investigated, not investigated, whatever. Truth of the matter is, there's already enough evidence against him to know that he is in fact did those sexual crimes against a minor, and we know for a fact that he's done it multiple times in the past before. So, and he's been wandering the street for about 8 years at this point, so, hey, like, at this point, they're not going to actually sit there and do their job and do an actual investigation to legitimize any of these facts that were sitting out there. He knows this, so that's why he's coming on camera and he's just openly admitting to it, because it's like, law enforcement don't really give a fuck. Okay, I did it, so what? Like, I don't even know why we sat there and had a conversation with this guy. Like, I don't even want to know the psyche of this nigga, bro. Why can't we just get this nigga off Earth? What I think the government is trying to minimize the act of a sexual crime against a minor. I think a lot of people that have been doing those acts keep getting away with those acts because the government know they do be doing that shit too. So if they start locking a whole bunch of other civilians up for it or whatever, they gotta hold themselves accountable. So they're not gonna do that shit. So we're just actively minimizing sexual crimes against minors at this point. They not worried about what regular civilians is doing by their day-to-day lives and shit like that for the most part. And there's a lot of like petty crimes that go unresearched, unannounced, unwarranted and stuff like that when it comes to anything like, you get your car stolen, they're not going to check about that until like fucking 3 months later. If somebody's stealing your car, the first thing they're going to take that shit to, they're going to take that shit to an auto shop or whatever, and they're going to get that shit stripped, and they're going to sell it for parts. You ain't never going to see your car again. So as soon as it get took, and you file a police report, and they said, we'll give on it in this day or the next day, just consider your shit took. You're never going to see your car again. You're never going to see the thief. Them niggas already ran off. The cops is not really going to do their job when it comes to petty crime, when it's theft, And I think back then we used to take sexual crimes against minors a lot more seriously. And I think because of like all the pushback between the Epstein files and all the other shit that's going on between the politicians and stuff like that, getting called out for being sexual deviants, they just don't want to round up any type of predator or whatever. Because as soon as it makes a headline for this person being a predator, you're already going to have people in the comments going to be like, well, why don't we get this politician? Or why don't we get this officer? Or why don't we don't get this authority figure or whatever for doing the exact same crime that this civilian has done? So that's why we're not taking it seriously anymore. And I just find that sad.
Mike Klum is using this documentary to benefit victims of sexual violence. The money that is being raised through this documentary is going directly to RAIN, which is a charity to help victims of sexual violence, which I thought was just such a nice gesture. I think that's just extraordinary. So Mike Klum spent 2.5 years on this, financed out of his own pocket to deliver this masterpiece documentary here, and the money is helping people that could really benefit from it. RAINN is a great charity, and I think that's just super nice. Like, one of the first scenes is Mike and EDP are in a car, EDP's driving, they stop, and then there's some kids outside on the sidewalk nearby because there's a school, and just totally unprompted, out of nowhere, EDP just starts talking really creepily about those children. Like,
what? Why is he still allowed school zones? Yo! Yo! Yo, why is he still allowed school zones, man? What the what?
And something Mike did that I thought was a really good idea is he brings in like professionals to talk about EDP as well in the documentary and present through it, like that lawyer you heard from a moment ago.
I keep running through
and I think
team.
that adds a lot to the overall documentary. He also has like recreations of his childhood using actors and stuff, which was a pretty wild endeavor to go through here, to like actually hire actors for the documentary, which is why he's calling it a cinematic experience there, because it is like a cinematic experience going through like his history, but it is one that is aiming to tell the story of this dangerous man who has got away with unthinkable shit. And I'm hopeful that this will lead to at least some kind of reinvigorated interest in the case of EDP from the authorities, hopefully, fingers crossed. And at the very least, at least it's benefiting victims of sexual violence through the money that it's raising for RAINN. Anyway, I wanted to yap about this a bit since I saw the trailer went up today. I cannot wait for August 9th for it to drop. Mike Klum really did outdo himself, man. This is a pretty unbelievable documentary. That's really about it. So, yeah.
Oh, that nigga's insane, bro. Like, that shit's dead ass insane, man. Good video, though.